Your hosts, Wayne Noon, Greg Norval, Uncle Saxon, and Pete Peters.
Welcome to Rat Salad Review. Today we are here with Felipe. Let's maybe try this now. Felipe Machado Franco.
You got it.
Thank you.
Go
Thank
for it.
God. God, the one name I haven't messed up yet. How you doing, Felipe?
I'm fine right now, thanks.
For now. Wait till we start asking you questions.
10 minutes later, I'm like, you know what? Fuck this shit. Can I say bad words on this show?
You just got us kicked off YouTube. Thanks.
Oh,
Of course.
my
You can
Okay.
say whatever you want, man. I curse all the time. I smoke weed on here sometimes. You're fine. If they're coming to get anybody, they're coming to my house first.
Okay, sounds great.
And then they're going to John's house, and then they're not coming to me.
I ain't said shit, man.
Well, you are wearing a thing on your head with the
You look cool. Figure
He
style.
He tries. He tries.
Well, I know we're going to talk a lot about Bogota tonight, so I
Like
thought
what?
I'd get in the mood.
Right. I figured.
Speaking
So-
of Bogota, I was looking up bands from Bogota. Holy crap, there's like 4 pages of bands from Bogota. Who the hell knew? I mean, you guys have got a community down there that's outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, huge. Yeah, and well, basically, there's all kinds of metal, but if there's a culture and a history about any particular type of metal, I would say that the 80s had like a response to hard rock and heavy metal, but then in the 90s, it was almost 80-90% trash or death metal or even black metal.
Okay.
And that community,
I didn't recognize 90% of them, so well, I'm just going to tell you that.
yeah, but I would imagine that probably one of the local bands that got more like reaction from the outside in the States and Europe would be a band called Inquisition.
Dora.
Right. And maybe, yeah, bands making songs in Spanish have a big following, but in other Latin American countries and eventually Spain, but not as much in the States or Europe. But Inquisition, if I travel to the States and I go to a metal bar and then I mention that I'm Colombian, if someone knows a little bit about the local scene, 90% they will say, Inquisition. So that would be the band that so far made had some reactions from the States and other countries.
And the other 10% say Thunderblast, because I actually have Warzone.
What?
And, I had to look it up. I'm like, yeah, I remember this album, and it's really good. I totally dig that Warzone album. And I'm looking it up. It looks like you got another album, right?
Yeah, there's a, yeah.
You
Oh,
got
man.
you got quite a few albums, right?
That's a good surprise. Thank you.
Yeah. It looks like you got Invaders from Another World, which, well, I'm sorry I don't have, but I've got Warzone, and
But
Well-
I can send you a copy.
well, I'm not going to refuse you.
Oh, I can send you guys copies of them because I still have like a little stock of albums.
Oh, that'd be
course.
awesome.
We accept everything.
You have no idea the impact that a comment like that has on anyone, not particularly from Colombia, but having that reaction and coming to terms with the distance, the commercial side. It's been a long time since that record came out, and just hearing someone that you just met, at least like digitally, mention, "Oh yeah, I got that record." It's like,
he's showing us.
Can you see that?
yeah, I see it. Incredible.
Rock and roll.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Well, at least somebody heard of your album because you showed me the albums that bands that you're in, and I didn't even know. I never even heard of any of the bands. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, the ocean of bands out there, it's just infinite.
Yeah, it just. Yep.
Many records come each day. Did you guys just check today how many independent records came out, or singles, or well-produced record company records? It's insane. I mean, if I get into a band, it takes me some time to digest and to get into the band.
Yep.
I still have friends that are able to go through 10 records a week, which for me is insane.
Yeah, fuck that.
Filter them and just mention like, this is the good one from this week. It's like, what the fuck?
I haven't even listened to the one from last week yet.
No, last year, like a close friend of mine that it's a heavy record buyer.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that we get together, and he's like, okay, I already filter a couple of things from last year. I think you're gonna dig this one, and this one. So he's like my editor as the metal fan now.
Nice.
Like,
so if you had to pick one style of music, one style of metal, let's say, what would it be? Because this Thunderblast album it's pretty much what Americans would call traditional metal. It's
right.
like Armored Saint, traditional metal, and it's great. So what would your favorite style of metal be?
Look, the other day, and it's been happening a couple of times, someone would ask you, okay, your house is burning, and you have to say the record.
I know where you're going.
So the record that I would save, and this might come as a surprise, would be Rain Chaos from Dissection.
Oh, wow.
I think it's a masterpiece, a conceptual, musical, metal masterpiece, what that insane dude made out of that record. Insanity and genius.
Walls, huh?
Insanity and genius. So I haven't listened a lot into black metal, for example. I have a friend that is completely into black metal, and he will send me some songs, and some I will like listen to, and I will be like, okay, I can listen to that. And I wouldn't catalog Rain Chaos into black metal per se. Maybe conceptually could be. I think it's more towards like a melodic Norwegian metal. But I can listen to that record every day, and I will never get sick of it. Never. It's the weirdest thing. I mean, it's really particular. Some people could hate it. Some people will also have it on their top 3 records. I would put it on top of any other record. If it comes to that radical, like save one record, that's the one I will pick. Which is just might be a strange option for someone that I love power metal, I love heavy metal, I love thrash metal. Anything that has a little bit of melody, I'm gonna get into it.
Yeah.
But that record really impacted me, and the concept around it, it's pretty strange and particular. But the melodies and the way this dude structured his songs, especially on that album, the ones that he did before that record are okay. But have you guys listened to that record at least once?
No,
I have. Yeah,
never even listened to that band at all. I'm going to now, because now if that's the album that you pick, I want to hear what it sounds like.
I mean,
yeah,
do it on a Sunday, grab a beer, concentrate on the record. Maybe we can talk later. You come back to it like it was shit, or maybe we can have a conversation about it. I don't know.
I like black metal, so I'm not
against shit. We'll definitely have a conversation.
I'll tell you what, Felipe, I think you got a way better chance of getting them to talk about that Dissection record than I ever do getting them to discuss Napalm Death with me. So.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well,
you're a much nicer person than he is.
Fair enough.
So how far apart are you guys from each other?
Well, those two are pretty much in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Where they? Oh, he just disappeared. What did he do? Pause himself?
I think he, yeah, paused it
It
or
went
turned
to-
off his video by accident.
Oh, here he comes. Yeah. What'd
But,
you do?
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Whoa!
Oh, now I hear you.
Somebody's calling me, so I'll just
Yeah.
decline that shit.
All right, good idea. Oh, now he's sideways. Anyway, they're near each other in Minneapolis, and I'm in New York, so
Right.
we have
Okay.
quite a distance between us two. We're all friends from a message board. Why is your phone sideways now?
I'm just sitting here, brother.
Flip it the other
What
way.
do
Or
I
something.
gotta do? Touch
I
that
don't know,
thing?
turn it. Yeah. This is
No,
every
I'm fine.
week. Every
Or we
week
can
there's
all-
a problem.
We can all turn around and just do the show.
There we go. That's better.
Good?
That's good.
Yeah, see, I just had to turn my entire universe this way.
At
All
least
right,
you
we're
weren't.
good.
At least you weren't on last week. Everybody's Skype just like crapped
Well-
out on us.
When your life goes 2 inches to the left, man, you'll thank me.
My light?
Life. I was talking to
Life?
Saxon.
Oh, I don't know. Whatever.
How many albums do you have, Wayne? Looks like a bunch.
A few, maybe like 200 or so. No, I don't know. It's about like 3,000-ish, a little over 3,000. Yeah, I haven't really counted. I have Discogs, and I kind of go by that. So, but then like on Discogs, you add box sets, and it only adds that as one. But meanwhile, there's 5 or 6 albums in a box set. So you kind of got to figure that out. So I don't know. One day I'll get a tally. I'll let you know. All right. So you were in a couple bands. You don't do any more music, or are you done with that, or what?
No, I don't feel like I'm done with it. I don't complain. I mean, if I was to see that was like my run, having a bands and recording and having live shows, I wouldn't complain with what I've done so far. Keeping a band is super hard. I thought it was hard because of Colombia, but as I talked to the bands that I design and illustrate for,
Yeah.
apparently everywhere is hard to keep up with a band.
Yes, it is.
So I stopped complaining about I want to do this for a living, but the guitar player doesn't have the time, or the drummer started listening to other stuff. So I came to terms with the teenage way of having a band, which
Right.
is the dream everybody has. Like, we're gonna grow old together, and it's gonna be like Iron Maiden, and we're gonna making a living out of this. So you hit the ground, and you realize that many things can happen. So to answer your question, I don't think it's the last record I made, that it's been already like almost 4 years. It's probably gonna be the last music that I produced. But in terms of putting together a band, making a 10-song record, I would question that. I would prefer to have a project that could put out once a year 4 good songs, 4 good singles, and after 2 years maybe start doing small shows, because we already have 10 good songs.
Yeah.
And keep it more doable, more reachable, more practical for the people involved. There's a couple of bands that actually spent most of their time inside the maxi format, once a year, 5 songs. In the digital era, I think that's the way to go if you're not supported by a record company or a producer.
Right. Bless you.
So I'll come back to it. I have ideas. You need time to do it, and also a state of mind. And I do know that even towards the final stretch of even Vorpal Nomad, I had to stop and realize that the things that happened were okay. The fact that people change, and the musicians went other ways and they didn't have the vision that I had. It's something that takes you time to settle down and to think like it's gonna be okay. I mean, you get mad sometimes. What happened with Thunderblast was a mixture of different ideas, people changing their what they like, a long history and a little bit of ego, and settling down. And with Vorpal Nomad, a little bit of that also, but even weirder actually. Like the guitar player of Vorpal Nomad, which is as a musician, he's a genius, especially for melodic stuff. He's really into religion. He's a Christian, and at some point he felt that if the band was going to grow, for him it was important to involve his spirituality, like Christianism. And I was okay. I respect everything in general, like whatever you want to believe in, go ahead, as long as you're okay and you don't hurt anyone else. But I wasn't into it. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not spiritual at all, but I'm not a Catholic. I'm not a Christian. So I had to come to terms with him and say, like, that's really important for you. And he was like, yeah, it's my life. I was like, this is the moment where we part ways. And he actually started a Christian metal band that has already produced independently, like maybe 2 or 3 records. So he went on with it with a different sound and a different format.
Yeah.
And after that experience with Thunderblast, 2 records, good shows, almost doing a Latin America tour, and then the same thing with Vorpal Nomad, 2 records, a record company in Canada, excellent reviews, and then because of people changing and at a specific time realizing that they want a different thing, then things stopping, I said, like, I don't have the energy to already start like a 3rd band or a 4th band. Let's just settle down, and a few years from now I'll probably come back with something that I can produce entirely, that I can control in terms of creativity. Right. And actually, if the show comes along, I have drummers, friends that are playing drums and guitar players, and I can give them the tracks, and it's like 0 drama. Thing is under my control. So if something happens, it has to be under that level of control, actually.
Yeah. Do you play any other instruments or anything?
I'm sorry. Speaking of settling down, are you married, kids?
Yeah, I'm married to a beautiful lady. We've been together for 20 years, 9 going out, 10, almost 10 married, and she's an artist also. She works into art restoration, amazing woman. And so far we decided not to have kids.
Nope.
We can, and she's my best friend, basically. My best friend.
She got a sister.
No, she does not have a sister. Yes. My friend looking for nice dudes like you, probably.
Well, you've lived in Canada, so you know what Minnesota's all about.
I was a long time ago, like a long time ago. I mean, I was probably 4 or 5. Yeah, I have some memories of it, but
I had a Canadian girlfriend when I was 4 or 5, so not a lot's changed.
Well, what's more important is Voivod's from Canada.
Oh,
God. They have to work that in every show.
Yeah. I have to work in a Voivod reference once every show, Felipe. Sorry.
Sorry. I'm a little bit lost. What is a Voivod?
You don't know what Voivod is?
Maybe, but I'm not sure.
Voivod is probably the most amazing band to ever come out of Canada, man. They were started off as thrash and then kind of branched out and just did their own thing, really.
No, I know. No, I know we pronounce it so different here. Sorry, it's just a Spanish pronunciation thing. Voivod, right?
Oh,
gosh.
Ain't that much different.
Yeah, they have changed a lot on the records, right? The last one I heard, it was like, I mean, a little bit about it, but correct me if I'm wrong, the musical evolution they've had is particular. I mean, it's really.
Oh, it's definitely their own thing. They have their own vision, and it suits them very well. But no, I don't think any other band has ever evolved quite like Voivod has.
Mhm. Well, from Canada, I'm a sucker for Annihilator.
Oh yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Oh
Jeff
man,
Waters.
that dude, those riffs.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Annihilator album?
Oh, there was a moment where they had this singer that I think was before that playing guitar on Exodus or another band. Waking the Fury, probably.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
And what was the name of the record before and after Waking the Fury?
Carnival Diabolus.
Amazing also, but that one I think Jeff was singing on it.
Okay.
And then the guy that I'm thinking about came into Waking the Fury and the one after that. That period.
Padden?
Excuse me?
Was it Padden?
Probably.
Oh, I'm gonna look now.
I don't know what the hell you're even saying.
No, I think
But-
Mike Patton was doing Mr. Bungle during
No,
that.
no, no,
Yeah.
no. The singer on Waking the Fury is another guy. And I don't know.
I've never heard Awaken the Fury. Annihilator, I love the first two records, and that's about
Waking the
all
Fury
I
is still
have from
Joe,
them.
Who was it?
Joe Como.
Yeah, that dude. What happened to him?
Let's find out. Uh,
Oh, just like my friend
And
Rafael.
now your Canadian History Minute with Uncle Saxon.
Do I
You
gotta make
used to
another
go-
video for this?
and that's basically about it.
What's that? We didn't hear anything you said.
He was in Overkill in 2002, and then he
Was
went
he?
to Tad Morales.
Oh,
What?
wow.
Oh yeah, that's what it says.
Well,
Interesting.
I would highly recommend the two records where he was the singer on Annihilator.
Okay.
From my point of view, his voice, amazing, in your face, kick-ass, trash power voice. Really, really good music.
Yeah, he was good on
He was
those
a-
albums.
Diabolos and Waking the Fury. So
Yeah, maybe those two. But I mean, how many records has Jeff Water put out? More than 20, probably.
Yeah, it's got to be around that.
yeah,
So how many records do you think Iron Maiden has still?
Got to be at
Shit.
least, what, 30 almost?
No,
Somewhere
no, no.
around there.
How many can we expect at this point?
Oh,
One.
how,
I
many,
would-
how many more left they have in them?
I would say 2 or 3, I
Yeah.
think.
it depends on if Bruce crashes the plane or not.
That's
Well,
Just have a bad day sometime and say fuck it all.
Oh, let's hope not.
And if that, with the whole band in the plane?
Oh shit, no.
Well, that's the time he flies, I think, isn't it?
No, he flies on his own.
well,
Then we'd
not
have to-
commercial flights.
Yeah, that's what he did.
I have a friend that has seen Iron Maiden 56 times in his life.
Wow.
You South Americans, you love fucking you love Iron Maiden down there, don't you?
Yeah, they've played so far just 3 times in Bogota. Commercially, Colombia is a little strange because the first time they came, it was an entire economic and cultural revolution. Like there's a documentary about it. Like
Oh,
people almost died. The
Yeah,
second time, half the amount of people with a difference of 2 years. The third time, a third of the amount of people.
Mhm.
And I'm like, it might be cheap for some people, it might be expensive for others, but I'm like, for me as a fan, that's not logical. I mean, if I don't know if I would spend a ticket for them once a year, but maybe probably I would if I have to make more work harder. I mean, a live show experience is something that is really special.
Mm.
But commercially, the third time they came, they sold really, really low tickets compared to the first time. So it's Yeah.
But to you, 500,000 people would probably be a low amount of tickets for an Iron Maiden show.
Yeah. I mean, well, the other thing that we have, I mean, I have to mention is that the first time they came, they were doing the, what was it? Somewhere in Time tour,
Okay. Yeah.
commemorative tour.
Yep.
And
Somewhere back in time.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the name. So when they create this nostalgia return to the old record tour, it does drag more people, I think, probably.
Mm. Yeah, I saw them on that tour. It was cool.
Yeah.
Like, the stage was really nice. I saw them about maybe 5 or 6 times. I couldn't imagine seeing them 57 times.
No, my friend is just insane. He's just it's just
The second time I saw them, I was fine. I didn't have to see them again, but once in a while it comes around. I like when they do the tours when they play a lot of the newer songs because I'm tired of hearing the old stuff. You know?
right.
You always hear the old stuff, so it's kind of cool to hear them play the new things, especially when Bruce sings all the Blaze songs.
I think they come along pretty good. I mean, it's for some people it's a surprise that they include Blaze Bailey songs.
Yeah.
I love those, especially the X Factor. I think that record is just like really good.
Saxon just made a face.
No.
I love that album.
I loved everything you've said until just now. I'm still a Thunderblast fucking. I'm gonna be a fan forever.
Oh, thank you.
Man, I'm sorry.
You have to listen to the second album. Much better than Warzone. Much better.
Okay, well, then you're really gonna turn me on because I really like the Warzone album. So,
Well, when the second one came out, a few months after it came out, a dude promoting the very first show of Judas Priest in Colombia knew about us. He had a copy of the record, and he told me, I don't know, when Iron Maiden came like 6 months before Judas Priest for the first time. So for Iron Maiden, they created like a different events, and they made like this local bands tribute album for Iron Maiden, and they made like a little thing to design the cover, and I won like the thing that they did. And when I went and the price was like 2 VIP tickets for Iron Maiden. So I went there for the tickets, and I was like, hey, by the way, I have a band. This is the second album. And he was like, oh, let's play it, the promoter. And he was like, this is really good. I was like, thank you very much. He was like, oh man, I would have had this like 2 months ago. You would be opening for Iron Maiden. I was like, shit. But then a few months later, I just remember he was like, hey, Judas Priest is coming. Do you want to open for them?
nice.
So the drummer was doing like his little drum test. The stage for Judas was already put together. We were walking around it. They said like, don't walk this area, but this area is okay. So Jaime, the drummer, he's like testing his drums. And this kid used to carry just 2 pair of drumsticks. One completely torn, and the new one for the show. So he was testing the drums with the torn pair of drumsticks. And the drummer of Judas Priest, Scott, what's his name? Scott
Travis.
Yeah. He comes around, he looks at us like, oh, all right, the opening local band. And he noticed Jaime's drumsticks. And he's like, are you going to play with those pair of... That's what I think he thought. He comes around with a full stack of Judas Priest custom-made drumsticks. He's like, okay, just take this and just be free, play the drums.
Grab signature drumsticks.
That's awesome.
Nice.
And we had a sound engineer, but we didn't have a lights engineer.
Yeah.
So the stage manager was, okay, kids, like the sound is okay. Now let's check the. Let me see. Someone's ringing. Give me just a second.
Sure.
Oh, look at that throne he's was sitting in.
Is that the Game of Thrones?
I want a chair like that.
Looks a
And
lot
a creepy
more comfortable.
Victorian doll to put in it.
It's a more comfortable looking chair than my chair I'm sitting in. You want to see what I'm sitting in?
Shit!
I'm sitting in a wooden chair. My ass hurts so bad right now. Look at this thing. Oh,
You don't have a computer chair?
Your butt, though.
I'm back.
I can't put a computer chair where I'm sitting right now.
I'm back. So
We were talking about your nice chair.
my chair.
Yeah, it looks very
Oh,
comfortable.
It's a really cheap chair actually, but it looks fancy, right?
Yeah, it does. Looks comfortable.
Not as comfortable, but it looks cool.
More comfortable.
Yeah.
than my chair.
It does look
No,
fancy.
so- no,
It looks like it should be on the cover of a King Diamond album with a creepy ass Victorian doll sitting on it.
No. Also, we had a sound engineer, and the sound was sounding amazing. And then the stage manager was like, "Okay, now the lights. Where's your light engineer?" And we're like, "What? We don't have one." So the Judas Priest lights engineer was in a really good mood. He was like, I'll just do some shit," and he did some amazing shit. I mean, there's some videos of the show, and it was just like the full rack of lights going. I mean, it was an amazing day. Amazing day.
Awesome.
2004, 2005.
2008.
Okay.
Oh, it's not that long.
Sounded amazing. We had good reviews. Everything worked pretty well.
Did you get to meet the? What was that?
No, the other thing is that a funny thing that maybe 2 weeks after that we had a really small, crappy show. So the contrast hits you in the face, and it's like, oh shit, we're actually rock stars. So
Yeah, you were for a minute.
but
You
we
got
kept it for at least 1 or 2 more years, and then minds change. If it was for me, my first mission, my biggest interest, and then somehow inside my heart still there as the main interest, is just making music. I mean, I'm not complaining about my career as an illustrator. I also love it. It's being creative in general. I see them both as really nice things that you can go into. But music is just something that it's part of our lives. I mean, not listening to some good songs each day is something that just doesn't happen.
Yeah. What was I just gonna say? How long was your set for Judas Priest?
We played a good 40 minutes.
Wow, they gave you 40 minutes.
And for being an opening band and everything, good reactions. I mean, I remember signing records, selling records afterwards, good reviews. People, I mean, I find still, that was 2008. I still find people remember that day, being there and saying like, I saw you guys and it was pretty good. I mean, as a local response to Judas Priest, it was the right decision. It sounded really good.
Is that the biggest show you've ever played?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You get to meet them?
Well, Rob came out of a limo with a lot of security. Headphones went straight into his he had a specific area just for him.
Huh.
Wow.
Scott was amazing, and he actually gave us drumsticks. And the other guys, they were around. We were really respectful about it. I mean, and the local manager was like, look, if a conversation comes around because they're in the right mood, have fun, but I would appreciate if you are not going to be straight after they come out from the band like, oh my God, I love you. I'm gonna open. So there were some security and mood recommendations. What are you gonna do? I mean, what can you say to one of those guys apart from, can I have a picture and thank you for the songs?
Yeah.
I mean, back then I was into art already, maybe some local covers, but not in a million years I went there with a portfolio that I felt confident about. Maybe mentioning like, hey, can we work together at some point? Funny thing, 2 years after that, I did some sketches for them and it didn't work. But that's another story.
Well, tell us.
At some point I realized that the only thing you need to do, and maybe nothing's gonna happen, or maybe something comes around, is just reaching out.
Right.
I have students, and they ask me like, how do you end up working with bands that you like, or bands at all? And I'm like, at this point, I have a little name and a career about it, and some of them come to me. But in the beginning, and still now, you have to reach out. If you don't reach out, no one's gonna. In this massive ocean of digital information, illustrators, content, no one's gonna find out about you.
Yeah, you can't expect it to get out by word of mouth all the time.
So at some point, I reached them. Back then, what they were using, what they were working with, an official web page. Just sent an email. I got a reply. They mentioned that they didn't knew my work, but that they thought it was okay at that point, and that it was okay if I would create some ideas based on the Trident logo. And I did some out of risk. They were clear, and many bands would be clear about, okay, let us see how would you manifest or interpret our visuals out of risk. And if you're into it, knowing that maybe nothing commercial comes out of it, you just spend some time creating some sketches, some ideas. And so that it was basically that. They were really polite. They replied saying that they weren't going to go with another option. In the end, just like any other bands, most of them, if they have a good relationship already with an illustrator, many times they would prefer to keep that relationship and just not change the visual direction. And that's what basically happened. I'm trying to remember around what record maybe it was this double album, conceptual double album about this.
Nostradamus. Yeah.
Maybe I was doing sketches that they were probably thinking on using for Nostradamus. No, after that, maybe. I don't know. But because 2008, or maybe I will have to check dates. It was okay. I mean, and then after that, I eventually, close to that time, I was reached by Rhapsody.
Okay. Yeah.
Once I was reached from Rhapsody, my season, and still it hasn't ended. That season concentrated mostly into European power metal. Started heavily. Like after Rhapsody, eventually, it was easier to reach out Blind Guardian and other bands, and it hasn't stopped. I mean,
You did a lot. You sent me. I told you to send me some of the album covers that you did. I'll put them up here. Obviously, you won't see them. I'll put them into the video. But you did the Rhapsody of Fire, Into the Legend cover.
And before that, many others.
Yeah,
Even before they split, which was a little bit crazy, the split thing for them.
Yeah. Oh, you did another Rhapsody one too?
I've done Rhapsody or Rhapsody of Fire, at least altogether albums and singles, maybe 6 artworks or 7 artworks.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
What are you more proud of, your cover art or the music that you actually played on?
Good question. I'm super proud of the second album from my last band, Vorpal Nomad. I'll have to send you like a couple of links and everything, but different kinds of feelings about them. I mean, there's definitely, and I think it's normal on any artist, and especially looking back to my work 2 years ago or even 3 years ago, some artworks I would start to look at them like, oh shit, my level of innocence. What the hell I was thinking? Which is normal. I mean, it's super normal. And as you evolve, as you work more, as you take more time and keep on studying, because I never stop studying composition. I do live drawing every single week. I go to workshops. I bring here to Bogota to a studio I have with some friends at least twice a year illustrators that we admire, not specifically inside the metal scene, people working on video games and comic books, on other type of illustration. And I'm the very first client for those workshops. I mean, I'm bringing the guys because I want to see them work live. And some of the stuff that they do under workshops, I will process into my. And I can tell you, my style and creative process has changed a lot over the years, like a lot. But it takes time to generate that, like a sense of recognition of what is so far right now the best that you can do with what you have, and what was your level of innocence before. Like I have backups of the first demos that I recorded with bands even before Thunderblast. And innocence, just innocence all around. And if I have a time machine, I will slap the hell out of that kid. It's like, shut the fuck up. Singing. But if you don't start there, you're not gonna have the starting point to evolve. So
the Vorpal and the Thunderblast album covers have a similar feel. Is that your art?
Yeah, of course, it's my art. And
okay.
But that's a point of reference. The second Thunderblast album, Invaders from Another World, still for me as a cover artwork, is one of my favorite ones. Every year I go back to it and I think that it could be remastered. Just as you remastered an album, an artwork could be in some ways remastered. But still, 90% of that artwork I love. I mean, I think it's for the time, and still now many decisions I took in terms of composition and narrative, I still validate from that artwork. And then
very metal, man.
Yeah, it's super trash. I mean, it's like this dude alone with just a shotgun and a bunch of creatures about him alive. It's not more metal than that, right?
Right.
And my hardest client was the guitarist of Thunderblast. That convincing him about it, the artwork, it was a nightmare. Really geeky guy. You know, like back then, even for that second album, I was already working with other bands. I was like, dude, chill out. I mean, it was like, I don't know, it could be better. I'm like, fuck you, man.
Yeah. Hey, where's your pen and pencil? Yeah.
Right on.
But especially, particularly the cover of the second album, his validation in the end was like, oh, dude, you did a really good job. I was like, what was that again? When you're a teenager getting into music or metal, it's just, you can take the entire world, right? It's just crazy.
Exactly. You don't really think anything exists out in the world besides that, you know, when you're
and
that
every
age.
woman in it.
Right.
Exactly. But you did a lot of covers for Blind Guardian, especially the new remastered albums that they just put out.
Yeah.
How'd you get involved with that?
That's a cool story. I mean, once even before Rhapsody, that I started working with power metal bands, mostly for AFM Records in Germany, and things started to go well. I started to get more confidence on my work, and I actually reached Pete from Iron Savior a couple of times.
Yeah, he did your album too, right? The Vorpal Nomad album.
Yeah, and he in the beginning when I reached out, he was like, "Cool words, but we have another guy." That would be the super polite way of saying it's not gonna happen. But I kept on reaching out every 2 years,
Yeah.
and eventually, somehow everything turned around, and someone from a record company that disappeared called Dr. One had signed Savage Circus. You guys
Okay.
remember that band?
Yep.
Oh.
They not they don't really like power metal. I do. I'm the power metal guy on the show.
Right. So
Thrash!
it
Right.
involved the ex drummer of Blind Guardian. So
Yep.
back then, my style and the way I was making illustrations had evolved. I can tell that I was studying more, questioning more my compositional decisions, taking more time on each artwork. So the record company reached me about that record, and I was like, "Fuck this! This involves the ex drummer of Blind Guardian. Maybe right?" And it did. And then Pete reached me, like, "Hey man, what you did for that record, it's really cool. Could you make something similar for Iron Savior?" And I was like, "Wait a second." And back then I was already reaching at least once a year. I went into back then the Blind Guardian webpage. They had an official email. Nowadays, the other company, and that would be the closest way to get to them.
Yeah.
But back then, Blind Guardian had an official email. So I just sent an email. "Hey, Blind Guardian, this is Felipe. I do illustrations. These are my latest ones. Just wanted to know if I could work for you." Simple, direct. Hansi replied the very first time. "Hey,
wow.
Felipe, thanks for the email. I think your work is okay." I wouldn't expect for them to leave the door open like that. But Hansi, in the very beginning, mentioned, "Keep me updated with your work." That's really strange. So maybe an art director from a video game company would see some eventual chance of evolution on a young artist, and he would close the door like that. Like,
Right.
"Not ready yet, but keep me updated."
Right.
And I knew that they would take 3 or 4 years in between records, because that's
Right.
the other thing about Blind Guardian. They take their time.
Yeah.
So once a year, I would be like, "Hey, just reaching out. Want to show you my latest artworks." Sometimes my email wouldn't even mention my hope of working. "Thanks, it's okay. We're not recording." Even on a period of almost 6 years, probably, I received replies from him saying, "Oh, we went with this other guy. The record is coming out. Hope you like it." And reaching out, keep on reaching out, and over a period of at least 5 or 6 years, my way of producing art and designing evolved. And at some point, there was going to be a year when I was like, let's just stop now. Just let's leave them alone. And he replied to me, "Hey, we started recording. We have some ideas for the cover. We're sending this brief to other 5 illustrators. It's out of risk. Maybe you want to show us something. Hope you're doing okay." So when everything happened, it was him reaching me.
Yeah.
But I kept him updated. I mean, I can go back to my email, and the emails will be there. The very first one, but it was a surprise that it was him replying, actually.
Yeah.
Between stuff happening, actually. And I remember just looking at the brief, and it's just pretty crazy because I immediately called Lena, my wife, and this is the strangest thing. Like, "Hey, baby, you're not gonna guess what just happened." And Lena was like, "Blind Guardian gave you a chance?" I was like, "What?" "Yes." "What the
That's
fuck?"
man.
And she was like, "Your voice, your tone, I've never heard you like this. When are we gonna talk again?" she said. And I was like, "No, it's gonna be shit. I gotta do this shit." And Hansi, there's a documentary about that record. He mentions that, I don't remember it like that, but maybe it happened. He mentions that probably 24 hours after the brief, I had already sent him like 4 or 5 sketches. I mean, if I back then, and maybe still now, I had a top 10 list of bands that I would hope to work with someday. Blind Guardian could easily be in the very first spot. I'm a huge Blind Guardian fan. I know their songs, their records, their history. I'm a big fan of PowerQuest. A lot inside my career because I know a bunch of video game illustrators that could take my job any day. People that I admire a lot.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that one of the elements that has helped a lot to be part of the community and to have a job is to be a fan of the music that I work for.
Hell yeah!
What was the first? What was the first album you did for them?
It's a Pyramid Time. What was the name? Let me check. I should know. Now I look like an idiot.
Yeah, you do. I'm not going to edit this now because now you look like an idiot. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, well,
I can. No, he shaved his head. He used to have long hair, right? You shaved your head, didn't you?
I shaved my hair. It came to a point that I had like 3 hairs and I looked like a
See?
dumb dude. At the edge of time, sorry.
Edge of Time. Okay, cool.
That was the first. Even before that, the single for that record, actually. A Voice in the Dark.
Okay, yeah. I'm a big Blind Guardian fan. I'm not so much of a fan of the newer stuff since Thoman left. I'm more of a fan of the older stuff. But they're still good.
Yeah, we can have that conversation. I've had that conversation with them.
Yeah.
And
You still have a job.
No, they're really cool guys.
Yeah.
But actually, I just remember before I worked for Blind Guardian, I was already working for Eister.
Okay. Yeah. How's he?
Excuse me?
How is John?
How is he?
Yeah, how is he to work with?
Oh,
I mean, he's he as an art producer. I mean, look, my experience in general is that someone from the band reaches me. It's not common that 2 members of the band would need to be simultaneous about the conversation.
Yeah.
But in general, I can tell you that every band has somehow on a member of the band someone that has to play the art director.
Yeah.
And Hansi and John are amazing art directors, and they know about it. Hey, another guest.
JB.
JB. We call him Juice. He's got to fill up his juice.
DJ Juice.
So, both of them being art directors. John Strict. I mean, he's a businessman. He's a guitar player, a composer, a producer, and he's an amazing businessman. I mean, to be able to make a pretty good living out of a power metal band on the U.S. market, it's just something to recognize. Because North America has a lot of power metal fans, but it's not the main metal sound as a commercial mean.
All right.
I would imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, or
I'm getting a crappy connection again. Oh, did you freeze?
Oh,
did you freeze? Might have froze.
there
you are.
Thank you, brother.
There we go. That's better.
So for him to be able to maintain a power metal, because I mean, Iced Earth could sound to many things, but in the core is power metal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would
Oh, Skype! I hate you, Skype.
Are you listening? How's it now?
You're okay right now.
Is it freeze?
It's just everyone's. Yeah, right now you're fine. Skype is just.
Okay.
Skype sucks.
Is there another? Not that I'm gonna change right now, but is there another solution apart from Skype? No.
Yeah, there is. There's 100 different solutions other than Skype.
But
Just a string on a tin can we can probably use. That'd be better than Skype.
probably. But John would be before he would reach an illustrator. He would be super clear about what he needs. I mean, he's the type of art director that doesn't lose time going around.
You almost got that.
But the general brief would be like super condensed and clear.
Right.
That's the type of art, and I call them. I mean, they're singers, they're drummers, they're guitar players, but I call them art directors because in terms of the moment where I come around and I have to convince them it's going to be visually represented their music.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's just an art.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up again. Oh God, Skype.
I can't see anybody anymore. I can hear you guys, but my video is completely frozen.
Is it?
They're
Really?
talking about interpreting the music into visual cover art.
Right, but I mean, Wayne is looking okay. Greg just doesn't move, but I think that's his style.
I think Greg.
So I don't know if it just freezes.
Greg's stoned out of his mind. You're the only one that's messing up.
Oh man.
The connection in where you are is not good. You know what?
Well, Phil, if you can hear me, I would love to talk to you about your diplomatic parents and how you moved around the world, because I'm a world traveler, and if you want to PM me on Facebook or email me, I'd love to talk to you about your travels, man, because we're probably not going to get to that right now, but that's really interesting shit to me.
Oh, it is. I mean, well, they're my parents are like they're grandparents now, so they have not working now because they retired, and back then it was just going all around the world, wherever there was like a project that they could develop, because my father is an engineer, my mother went into philosophy and education. That's where they were going to take us. But in terms of having a lifestyle that involves traveling, I can hook you up with one of my closest friends that does that. I mean, his income comes from as a travel agent, actually.
They still exist, huh?
But it's because his passion is traveling.
Yeah.
So he would recommend trips based on experience that he had before. Like, I just went to Thailand, and these are the what to do's and what not to do's. So he has this balance where he has a pretty decent income, I would imagine, from working as a travel agent and just traveling all around. I mean, he has to change his passport because the pages are full once a year at least. That's the traveling.
Yeah, Facebook me on that and tell me all about it.
It's just a lifestyle, you know? And sometimes he will come back home and have a few beers, and he's like, oh, I don't have a steady home, and I don't feel what's home. And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Poor guy. Whatever.
Just came from Singapore. What the fuck, man? Shut the fuck up, man.
That's funny. So how you do your artwork? Mostly on your computer?
Right. So Photoshop is just the best thing that came after the wheel and hamburgers for me. Those dudes that design it, Photoshop, are just magicians.
Yeah.
And
But you don't do the old school, paper and pencil.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I have my sketchbooks, and on Fridays we get together with some friends and we just draw and have some beers, or we would go to a thing called Drink and Draw, where
Oh, really?
cosplayer would be posing or a figure drawing would be going on, and we would I do that. Sometimes the first ideas for a cover could come out from paper actually, and I would just take a photograph of the sketches and mention to the person that I'm working for, like, this is just composition, but tell me if I'm heading the right way.
Hmm.
And after that, yeah, it's just Photoshop. It's just super quick in many ways, easy to correct, transform, rotate.
Breaking up again. We were so good for so long. You broke up again. There you go. You're back now.
I'm back. I have this strange feeling that if I move, it's gonna break.
No, we did another interview earlier on in the day. Whenever we seem to go past the 1 hour mark, it's
Yeah,
just
right?
Skype starts doing this with whoever we have on as a guest. At least from what I've noticed, it doesn't seem to matter who it is, what their connection speed is like. It seems like Skype gives you guys an hour, and then it starts messing with the feed.
That is true. I noticed that now.
It's probably something Bill Gates did on purpose to make us upgrade. Pig.
Those money makers, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, do you have a website that anybody can go to check your stuff out, or if they need an album cover done or anything done?
I used to have a website, but at some point, social media, in terms of illustration and art in general, changed the rules. I mean,
Really?
I will get more connection and people reaching out for rates and maybe working from Facebook, my page on Facebook, not
Okay.
my personal page where we were talking later, but I have one called Felipe Machado Franco Art.
You're gonna have to say it a little slower.
I
It's my
understood him.
name plus art. Felipe Machado Franco Art.
All right, send me the link in Facebook,
Yeah.
and I'll put it up.
And I mean, it's strange because at some point when I was about to renew the my membership with a web page,
Right.
I had to make that balance and question, like, wait a minute, when was the last time that I felt that a .com gave me more people reaching out than Facebook or even Instagram?
Yeah, true.
And I made this little experiment when I was like, let's just shut it down. Let's just shut down my webpage.
Mhm.
And I went back and I'm working. I have a job. I'm doing album covers.
Yeah, so it must be okay.
Facebook. I mean, I think that a band, a rock or metal band, has a Facebook page.
Yeah.
They do. I mean, Facebook might be dying for other means and purposes, but for metal bands, I think that all bands have a Facebook page.
Yeah.
Even an official page. And yeah, Facebook. I mean, and eventually, I mean, even still now, the musicians that buy records from bands that they admire would go into the credit section, and that would find out who was the producer, who took the photographs, who made the artwork. That level of reaction towards something that you would want to get involved with still happens. I mean, you go into the credit section and you just find out who mastered the record because you want your own band to be mixed and mastered by that dude.
Right.
That
Yeah.
just still happens a lot inside the metal community. So
Phil, before we go, I got one last question for you.
Right.
Do you have Laura Torres's cell phone number?
I have whose phone number?
Laura Torres.
Who's that?
Well, she's a Bogota actress that I've been into for a long time.
No, I don't have her number. I'm not sure. What was the name again?
Laura Torres.
Laura Torres. No, what kind of movies does she does? I think this is going.
She does daytime, soap operas.
Ah, I have to check her. I think I know who she is now. No, but this is a small town, so
Yeah.
maybe a year from
Check
now,
into
yeah, you're into operas. That's amazing.
Well, if it's a small town, you can definitely get her cell phone number for me.
Yeah, it is a small town. I'll try. I'll do my best.
She might need some artwork done.
Hey guys, thank you so much for this interview. I mean,
No problem.
actually, one of the coolest ones I've done so far.
Really.
Thank you.
Yeah, felt like talking to a couple of friends actually.
We
Well,
do, you know?
You're definitely talking to 3 friends now.
Hey guys, have any of you gone to any version of the 70,000 tons of metal cruise?
No.
I've done Monsters of Rock, but I haven't done 70,000 tons of metal. No.
I hear that Monsters of Rock is pretty cool. Like the party goes on nonstop.
As much as I can remember. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been 2 or 3 times to 70,000 tons,
Oh, wow.
and in general, it's a good experience. It's a little bit expensive depending on how you manage it, but it's a pretty cool experience. Apart from good shows, there are good shows. The overall vibe from the metal community, the sense is really really cool. I had it on hold for a couple of years because I was like, getting on a boat with bands. I don't know.
With
And
bands and a bunch of metalheads with long hair and
Yeah,
black t-shirts.
my friend, actually, I reached them and they said like, okay, you can have an art show in here. Maybe we can give you a little discount on the cabin, and that's it. And I took that chance, and I didn't regret it. I mean, the overall experience for me, particularly as an artist, I actually came back with new jobs. I mean, I was able to have a couple of years with new people and just mention like, yeah, I do this stuff. Oh, are you the guy that worked with? So that kind of stuff happens.
That's cool.
But
Yeah.
but a pretty crazy and so far pretty cool format.
Yeah.
Last time I was on the Monsters of Rock cruise, Akira Takasaki from Loudness came and covered me up with a towel because I was getting sunburned. I was
Oh, man.
completely passed out for hours, and I was getting red. And yeah, Akira
Okay.
came and covered me up with a towel.
That's a band that I would love to see someday.
Oh, dude. Yes, you must.
Well, yeah. Yeah, we have a friend that went a couple of times to 70,000 and then he went to Monsters of Rock and he came back saying like, I'm just going to Monsters of Rock, much more fun. He thought it was more interesting.
Well, the bands are more not power metal-y.
No, like hard rock and
Right.
It's probably more diverse on that than it is on the the boat.
Yeah.
oh man, I love hard rock. I mean, I wouldn't mind giving a chance to that cruise.
See,
Oh,
with the boat, what? Go ahead.
They've had great lineups on that. You know, the one year they had a like a new wave of British heavy metal thing where they had a bunch of different bands from that. Now, of course, I was still shooting drugs in my arm at the time, so I definitely did not have the money to go. But they
Why?
do get some pretty good lineups for because seeing Diamond Head on a boat in the Caribbean or being dope sick the next morning, it's a pretty easy choice if you're.
Saxon's been on both of them and the prog
Yes,
rock.
they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there you go.
Saxon's pretty cool about doing the different cruises, I've noticed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they like playing at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and then going to bed.
Yeah, well, it's time for tea, as they say.
70,000, some bands that I would really wanted to see, small bands like small power metal bands. it will be a 3 a.m. show. It's a mess. I mean,
Oh, all right.
yeah, I even missed one because I just passed out. It was just impossible.
So Saxon plays at 3 in the afternoon, is what I'm saying, so they can go to bed afterwards.
That's
Yeah, they have their wine and they're in bed by 6:30.
well, the first time that we're talking about Saxon, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So the very first time they played in Bogota was a month ago. Very first time.
Wow.
I didn't go there, but my friend told me that 200 people went to see them.
God, fuck that.
It's just too late, but they came, which is exciting. I've seen them a couple of times live, and they still have it. I mean, but that's the commercial thing about Latin America. I mean, if you want to make money in Colombia, and a promoter knows about it, bring Epica. You make money, bring Epica. Every single month. I know what.
I opened for them once. And I kind of do now, but I did back in the day. We opened for them at Gramercy Theater in New York City. It's a sold-out show. My last show I ever played.
Oh, that sounds like a good show.
Yeah, no, it was cool. It was fun.
Yeah, they have a huge following here. Other bands, anything related to Sepultura, like Sepultura or this other band, what's the name? Soulfly?
Soulfly, yep.
And the brothers playing together.
Cavalier Conspiracy.
Cavalier Conspiracy. Yeah.
And Slayer sold out every time. Testament sold out every time.
Nightwish,
yeah, probably. But the thrash and death metal community here is huge. Like huge.
Yeah.
Well, thank God.
Oh, I mean, I love it. I mean, I'm into North American thrash. I mean, if I have the time and the money and Testament is playing tomorrow, I will be there for sure. I mean, I love.
I'll see you there.
Yeah.
Coming, man.
I won't because it's Testament, but
I'm staying in the back.
You don't like Testament?
Their first couple albums are.
It's always the first couple albums with you, and then you just drift off.
Well, no,
So, guys,
I mean, yeah, honestly, I think the best one they ever did was Low with James Murphy, but
amazing.
that's a little too death metal for most people.
Really
yeah.
Good record. So, guys, so far on this year, what's your best records so far?
Bewitcher, Under the Witching Cross.
I haven't listened to that.
I'll send you. Just PM me, man. Just Facebook me.
I'll do.
Well,
Columbia on that tip real quick.
Yeah,
You'll love it.
What about you, Greg?
That came out so far this year, probably Indestructible Noise Command's new record, Terrible Things. That's a real great New York crossover thrash style album. But favorite newer album recently overall is still Voivod's The Wake, even though that came out last year.
He said this year.
No, but that's.
But 2019 award.
Well,
That's heard on the last episodes.
What about you, Wayne?
I'm going with the Indestructible Noise Command. Terrible Things.
I've never heard about it. Please say the name on our chat.
Ooh,
I'm gonna.
There's this brand new band I just discovered too, called Beastmaker that just put out an EP.
Oh yeah.
About a week ago. I think you'd like them a lot. Hopefully.
Okay. That's the guy from Haunt.
That makes sense.
Yeah. You know who Haunt is?
I think so.
Yeah.
There's so many bands. There's so many.
Yeah, it is. They're on the Shadow Kingdom Records label.
Mm.
Yeah, one of those bands. They're good. They're really good. They're kind of like old school metal. I'll send you. They're good. You might like them.
Metal, rock in general, but metal is, I think, one of the music styles that kept the CD and vinyl production format alive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Metal's keeping the physical format alive.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Luke Bryan, kiss my ass.
That's right.
Who?
I don't know.
I'm surprised he knew that name. He didn't even know who Taylor Swift was last week.
So this is one of the local beers here. It's called Club Colombia.
Nice.
It's okay.
It's a generic name for a beer, man.
Club Colombia.
It's not any worse than Green Belt.
But look, the two more
Sweden going on. So,
but the two more popular ones, like the people's beer, would be Águila, Eagle, and Pucker. Like,
Does it make better after you drink it?
no, not necessarily.
the company that makes it called
You're
Motherfucker.
talking about the next day when you're trying to hold it in so you don't shit your pants.
No, talking about beers, that's the one thing that's complicated on the metal cruise is that you pay for your cabin. It comes with all the food that you want to have, all the shows that you want to see, your cabin. It's pretty cool, but you have to pay for the beer and the drinks. So that's their business.
Got to get tickets.
Right. So you start with one beer, and you're like, I'm just gonna have like 10 beers, and then the bill comes in.
No inclusive option.
Cabin.
Excuse me?
I said it's more expensive than your cabin to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, I've been lucky because I have a couple of friends that would I'm not gonna refuse an invitation for beer. So in general, if I walk around, someone's gonna offer me a beer, so that's cool. But my friends have spent a lot of money on beer on the ship, like 800 or 1,000 bills. Like,
Yeah, but they're the beer cartel down in Median, so they can afford it.
right? No, but we saw some good shows on the cruise. It was pretty cool.
So you asked us what our favorite album of this year was. What's yours?
Huh. Good question. Oof. What I've been recently listening to. I don't know what to say.
This is where I put the Jeopardy theme song.
Yeah. Thank you, Felipe. Bye. No, I thought it came out this year, but I think the Powerwolf record was solid.
Okay.
It was okay. I mean, they have like a style, starts to be cyclical, or I don't know how you say it. So you know what you're gonna get. But compared to other records, I think that production-wise, it was good. Last year, and I've got into a couple of fights about what I'm gonna say, because it's a band that either generates love or hate.
Mm-hmm.
I really dig the last Unleash the Archers album, Apex.
Never heard of it.
Unleash the Archers.
Never heard of them.
Oh, Unleash the Archers. Yeah, I've heard people talking about that.
Well, that's a surprise.
No, it's not a surprise because it's on major forums around here, and they're talking about it.
Mm.
But
No, in
thing
terms
that
of,
has 3 words in it, I totally try to avoid. So
yeah, no, I mean it's a product that it's at least their latest album, Apex. It's completely designed for a power metal audience. So maybe
I'll definitely
Maiden is
check it
gonna-
out. I will
Yeah.
check it out. Yeah.
Well, that's a surprise that you didn't know about that band. I think they're from Canada, actually.
Oh. Well, maybe I'll have to second think that.
I'll get it from you later. Because I'm
Yeah.
gonna transfer you that Bewitcher stuff. So
Yeah, and I was gonna say actually I gotta change my answer. I gotta go with that Bewitcher record too. That's the best speed metal album I've heard in years.
seriously,
Really?
man.
Yeah, I mean you can't be. It's as good as Maiden's Killers is. I mean, not that that's speed metal,
Wow.
but song quality wise and how it flows and the playing, Under the Witching Cross is a 10 out of 10. That's a great album.
It really
Wow.
is.
Check it out.
No, I'm only kidding about Canada. I like Canada. I like Into Eternity. They're from Canada.
You took your time.
You heard of Into Eternity, right?
Yeah, sure.
Well, he had to finish fantasizing about licking Neil Peart's feet first. He is a drummer.
I'm not. But I'm not like crazy about Neil Peart. I'm not one of those drummers.
Well, of course not. Oh, never mind. I'm not getting in a
But
rush.
you know
Yeah.
the backstory. There's the
Wayne-
one Canadian I'm not happy with. Glenn Drover.
I
Wayne-
just found your email. So send out your no.
I'm guessing you're a drummer, right, Wayne? Because I see the drum kit.
I think so. Yeah. I
And
tried
do you-
to.
Do you try to play every day, like a little for a while?
No. When I was in teenage school and stuff, yes, but now I have a 2-year-old. So there is no
Yeah.
playing. I tried to get. Actually, I played yesterday because I was recording something, so I did get to do that. So.
Okay.
Record, yes, I do. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you gotta find the time. But it's good that you keep your drum kit and
Yeah. Yeah, it's I love doing it. So I love music, so I can't stop playing that. I wish I knew how to play guitar a little bit better, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I asked you before, do you play any other instruments or anything, or you just sing?
bass guitar, a little bit of guitar, but one of the first configurations for Thunder Blast was just a power trio. I was playing bass, singing, one guitar player, a drummer. Probably the best sound we ever had. Solid. It pushed us, being compact about it, it pushed us to be really tight about the sound and starting. Just being three people pushes you into making the best out of those three elements.
Yeah.
So bass guitar, and I have one bass at least here at the studio, and from time to time I take it out and just like fool around.
Very cool.
Yeah.
We were supposed to review a band called Nomicon. Have you heard of them?
Necronomicon.
Sorry, Necronomicon. I'm getting very tired.
Necronomicon?
Necronomicon.
Why do I have the feeling that
There's two
that
bands.
Just
There's
two?
There's two Necronomicons.
No, there's about 15 different bands
All right.
named Necronomicon, but
There's
there's
two.
two big ones.
Right.
These particular guys are the German ones.
That's what I was gonna ask you. Have you guys already listened to their new record?
Yes.
Yes.
We were supposed to review it tonight.
And now
Not happening.
and now we're talking about. So how general? How was it?
Oh, he's back. He froze for a second there. Sorry. Well, apparently you haven't heard it. The album's called Unleashed Bastards.
It's
Doesn't sound familiar to you, huh?
it's a good record. Pretty thrashy. I mean, it's really Necronomicon doing what they're best at. They may not have been the most popular or the best German thrash band out of that whole scene with Destruction and Creator and all that, but they've definitely had the most consistent output over the years, and they're still putting out good riffs.
I'm googling them just to.
Yeah, give him a little Google. We've been trying to review this for the last 2 weeks, and so I listen to it quite often between now and then.
Can I interject real quick?
No, I'm not done. Wait till I'm finished, and then I'll give you your turn. All right? You can actually leave the fucking room, wait till I'm done, and then maybe when you come back, I'll let you talk.
Hey, I think we need to make a trip to Long Island. Texas.
Yeah, you can know where else you know where else you can scratch with that thing? Scratch your ass, all right?
Oh. Well, it looks like
Ain't that big.
this guys have been around for a while, Necronomicon.
Yeah. Anyway,
86, I believe.
listening to this album, I heard a lot of destruction, but like a more a toned down destruction,
Yeah.
like a rock,
Well, they keep it more in the crossover style, more. I don't want to say basic, more traditional thrash metal than Teutonic.
They actually sound more like head the Schmear's other band that he does. Sounds very similar to that band.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. I like it. Not all songs are great on it, but it's a good album. Okay, Saxon, go ahead.
I didn't realize we were going to do this with Phil on the air here.
I didn't either, but you know what? We've been trying to do it for 2 weeks, so I said, all right, let's just do it now, get it over with.
Let's do it. Necronomicon.
I'm okay.
It's a really good album. It's basically speedy as a motherfucker, except for the middle two songs, and it's totally up my alley, and I love it. I give it an 8.5.
8.5. Well, that's pretty good. I'll give
And
it
Phil, I just sent you that Bewitcher. Check your email.
Okay, I'll do. Well, I can
for it,
talk
right?
about. I can mention my opinion on the artwork evolution, Necronomicon.
Sure, go ahead.
So I'm looking at their previous releases.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff in general, but in 2012 they had a record called Invictus.
Mm-hmm.
That, from my humble opinion, a stronger cover artwork than the new album. The new is not bad, and it's a topic that I don't know if they're following in general as a general like something that they are art directing, which is almost all of their cover artworks involve a head. Do you notice that? Just a head, or a creature head, or a.
Oh, is that their mascot or something?
That's their mascot. It's real similar to like Charlie from Overkill.
Oversmith.
I'm tired, man.
But,
More skill.
I got the TV on behind me, and it's on the Discovery Channel, and the guy was making a sword.
That's it. You got to isolate that right there, man. That's some really, really good stuff right there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to end the show now. That's
Yeah, send it to D.D. Verney.
Send it to fucking Greg Googly Moogly. Don't give a shit about this fucking program anymore. .com.
Oversmith. I'll try to get them on the show maybe next week. But check out that Necronomicon album, Felipe. It's good. It's cool. You should like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm intrigued now because their 1998 record Escalation. Clearly, their album cover character is Elric. You know, have you read?
Yeah.
This is the first album I've ever heard of.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know if it's that
Elric,
conceptual.
1998. 1988.
Yeah,
1988.
Escalation came out in 88.
Escalation, yeah.
Yeah, they're a different band. I mean, they've tried to stick to a formula, but obviously everybody has better production values than they did in the 80s. But they've stuck to the riffage that they did in the 80s, and it comes through in the new album. And I really like the new album. I've listened to it maybe a dozen times. So
except for
I really do. I love it.
as good as the
so you guys liked it more than I did.
yeah, it was.
Well, I mean, it's speedy as a motherfucker, except for the two middle songs, and I'm not gonna look it up, but yeah,
No, I like
songs end up speedy. So
No, and speed is cool. For me, my issue with it was just it's a little too repetitive. A lot of the same riffs repeat and same parts on different songs. There's 4 really great songs that I think are classics, 4 that are okay, and 4 that are. You could cut it down to 8 songs and it would be a much stronger record. But I still give it a 7, you know. Still a good album, just not the best.
Good.
But Leave the Lights On, the second track, that is an instant thrash classic. That's an awesome song.
Oh, you know what song I don't like?
Leave the Lights On.
What song? No.
The one I said.
No. Yeah, usually that's what I don't like. We Do. I think that one's dumb.
That is really the first track where I started having a problem with the album because it repeats the same riffs out of the opening song. And
yeah, that's fine.
So
Right?
what? The opening riffs were the best of the whole album. I mean,
but you
so
don't
what?
need to hear it repeated 3 or 4 times. I mean, part of the thing that makes a great album is every song is great and fits together, but they're clearly different songs.
Yeah.
You know, if I wanted to sit around for a half hour with my thumb up my ass, basically listening to the same song, I'd stick on a live Pink Floyd record. But at least David Gilmour would do something interesting in that time period. You know
something. Critics.
But I still like the record. I just don't think it's amazing. It's good.
You listen to it, Felipe, and you let us know what you think about it.
You know what? I just remember that it doesn't have to do with Necronomicon, but I will listen to it.
All right.
I remember that
Oversmith is your favorite band?
No. Once upon a time, I reached out to Ronnie James Dio.
Really?
And he got back to me.
So low, apparently.
He got back to me. Really sweet guy.
Would you reach out here to do artwork?
Yeah, and he said, "Look, I really dig your artwork. Maybe let's talk a year from now." And then he passed away. But I do have his email.
Yeah, that's cool.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Not many
Personally,
people.
I hate that story, Phil, because that's with Dio fucking dying at the end.
Yeah.
Man.
Sad. But I saw him once on Johns Beach near New York.
Okay.
Opening for Scorpions and Scorpions opening for Deep Purple. Maybe it was 2000 or 1999. Really good show.
That's my neck of the woods.
Yeah. Well, guys, I mean, it's been an honor.
Yeah, it was great. Oh, yeah, bottom line on the album, Necronomicon 7.
Yeah.
Go listen to it. And Felipe, you send me all those bands and the links and everything, and I'll put them on the show, and so people can see your artwork, and if they need stuff done, they can contact you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was great having you on, Felipe. Yep. I look forward to hearing that the Thunder Blast.
Right on.
Yeah. Appreciate you coming on. It was a lot of fun.
Check it out.
What'd you say?
Absolutely.
I emailed him the Bewitcher. We transferred him. Yeah.
Oh,
thank you. No, and I'll get back to you guys with a couple of suggestions and anytime. Yeah, I mean, I'll be there. Sending you like the web page, like the inside Facebook page that I manage only for the art. Mm-hmm. That would be the easiest way to me eventually.
Very cool.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right. I appreciate you coming on. It was a lot of fun.
Have a good rest.
All right. You too.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Take care. Have a good night.
Okay.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you guys next week.
Don't forget to pay it in metal.
www.ratsaladreview.com.
Bye.
All right.